So I came
Ohthatsbaby.E.
across this government website, and it's like something I would definitely see out of a GTA game. Like, going on GTA Online, you open up the online character's phone and you go on the internet and you see this page, and it's about the government. It's like this is what you'd probably see in there. It's like it's insane. And it was brought to my attention by one of my friends, and she's gonna break it down for me, and we're gonna react to that. So let's check that out real quick. I'm gonna find this website real quick. All right, we've got it here. Okay, the official White House website. All right, it's absolutely insane. Are you gonna read it for us? What am I looking? What
Alright,
am I looking for?
so if you go all the way down to the major events timeline on the official government website for the White House, if you scroll down to the major events
I've got to
timeline,
be an old man right now because I can't find this shit, mate.
you got to scroll to the bottom where it says major events timeline. It is a little bit of a scavenger hunt.
Okay, we found it. Major events timeline.
Yes, sir.
Now this is absolutely insane. So as we can see, we're looking at regular pictures of like the White House and stuff like that. The history of the White House.
Rebuilding after World War 1812. The West Wing and the Oval Office being at Rose Garden. Like the literal history of the White House itself.
Things that actually kind of like point out the major things and the major flaws of the White House, the things that matter. And so when we're looking at some of these things, you see the typical things that you would want to see. This happened, like the White House burning down, the design plans and stuff like that. But you can scroll a little bit further down the line and you start to see things that kind of like tend to stand out. As you can see, like there's like a pattern here where it's kind of consecutive with these things, where they're showing things happening over time until things, start to take it a different kind of approach when it gets to Mr. Bill Clinton here in his scandal during his term at the White House
With Monica Lewinsky.
with Miss Monica Lewinsky.
Obviously, is like the biggest part and the biggest thing that happened with his entire term. Nothing else is worth noting, and this is 100% related to the building of the White House. Which, if we really want to keep it a buck, because it's trying to talk about old president relations with the worker, with the help, and how inappropriateness. So there was this investigation. So the dynamics of people in the White House are being shifted. You really want to get into it. Pretty sure a lot of the presidents were doing stuff with the help. When I say the help, I mean the literal people who were enslaved and still being servants at the time of enslavement in Jim Crow. But what do I know?
And then as we continue forward with these little major events in this timeline, you know, we jump from 1998 to 2012, and considering how the timeline was kind of consistent back then, I wonder what happened here in this little time jump.
Was the first black president was elected, and he had 2 terms back to back, and they decided to hone in and focus in on you all are reading.
And as we can see, like it kind of turns into a I don't even know what to kind of call this. It's like they're just kind of staining things. Like I don't know. They're spreading a certain narrative, I guess. As we continue forward, you know, some random thing about Melania Trump and a tennis court that she built or had built. She didn't build it, obviously. She had it built. And furthermore, we just continue forward. The picture for this absolutely is insane. For one, to be on an official government website, a white man with no shirt inside a bathtub smoking a cigarette butt, and he looks hazed out, is absolutely insane to be on a government website to represent a cocaine discovery inside the White House. That's like Is that necessarily even a major event?
It's literally not. It's just a narrative about the most recent Democratic elects in the White House.
And that's absolutely insane. And then as we can scroll a little bit further to see what they've done with like Joe Biden. Like this picture is absolutely insane. I don't even know if I can show this on YouTube, but I'm gonna blur it anyway. But this picture is absolutely insane too. To put this on a government website. This is on Thewhitehouse.gov. Like, um, of all the pictures you could use for this, I'm just saying like there's so many different things he could use, and for a party that continuously yells and screams about protecting their kids and being family friendly and all of these different things, there's so many different pictures they could use out of the LGBTQ to represent what that day probably was about, and they just decided that this was the best one to use for some reason. Like, just I don't know. Maybe I'm just the crazy one here, but
I think also decided to hone in on the fact that this happened on Easter Sunday, which is a very minute detail to this whole event.
yeah, I guess like maybe people that's religious will probably care about that part. It being on Easter
That, but
Sunday.
also, I mean, that even plays into the fact that a lot of our institutions in the country are all based on the Christian calendar. Like even schools and our vacations, that like as a teacher, like they base all of our holidays and breaks from the Christian calendar. So I mean, it makes it really apparent where they stand on where religion, like the role that a religion has to play in their ideologies, and obviously it's a twisted ass view of religion.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I would like to just point out there are now one, two, three, four new things posted on this major events timeline for 2025. Things that don't even necessarily, matter too much. I would say, like, I guess it matters in some sense about, the progression of the White House for the elites. But, like, what does this do necessarily for America? And how much money did this necessarily take from Americans? And at what
Not the
cost does it really matter for, like, as we can see, this one, 250 million. you know they talk about not having money for certain things, and they recognize things as something that does need to be prioritized when it comes to budgeting, but everything kind of falls on the flat foot when it comes to actually producing good product, good product for Americans. They sit here and make it about a back and forth kind of thing where they shit on their political opponents like Joe Biden and the LGBTQ and people who suffer from addiction and Muslims and their faith. They shit on all of that and turn around and glorify themselves and how much money they spend and how many people they feel as though they're making proud. And this is all just, this looks like GTA 5, dummy. Like, I can't lie, this looks like GTA 5. I went on GTA 5 on the internet and seen the stuff they post on the internet in GTA 5. And that's just shits and giggles from Rockstar Games. But it's absolutely insane to look at this and say, I feel like I'm in GTA Online. Like, if I lived in California, I probably wouldn't tell the difference from me running around in GTA to being in Los Angeles, California, because this is absolutely insane. At the end of the day, we know that these people are just putting on a show of a face so this way they can get everyone to understand what side they're on and whose side they're on. And if you're on their side, you're recognized as one of them, but that's not entirely true. You get a pat on the head for being on their side, but you're not sitting at the table with them. You're not going to sit in that ballroom with them. You're not going to look at the art that they took down from the White House or from the museums or the history that they're erasing. You're not going to think about those things because they don't want you to. It's insane. They want you to think about the political opponent. you know, it's all just a facade. I think things could be much better if these people actually cared and the people below them actually knew that they didn't care. But who am I to say anything?